Hello, welcome to the channel. My name's Andrew. I'm a nascent writer from Brisbane, Australia, and this is the BookTube writing channel at no expenses spent. And today, a little bit of a different background. I'm in my little office, just trying to, and I would tell a lie. There is an expense spent, maybe a little light in the background, just a bit of flavour. $20 on the internet. The latest release from Steven Erikson, No Life Forsaken. I have to admit, I just finished the audiobook. I had it, ordered it ages ago with my Audible account, and yeah, I had it booked ready to go for as soon as it came out, and as soon as it, hit my phone, I was listening at work, and first impressions, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, this is the second book in the Tale of Witness, down there. And I do have a physical copy, obviously. I went out and were like, yeah, all right, I'm going to get that. So, and it is a sequel to The God Is Not Willing. So, all those want a bit of my thoughts on that book, might put a link somewhere, maybe up there. I'll try and see how I go. I'm not very good with the YouTube. But my initial thoughts is, well, it's Steven Erikson's done it again. I think he's proven without a shadow of a doubt that he's probably one of, if not the best fantasy writer alive today. And this, in typical Steven Erikson fashion, it isn't a direct sequel to The God Is Not Willing. It introduces a new cast of characters in a different city, and I believe there is 4 books in this series, so I assume that they'll all tie together at the end, as he does. Excuse me, I got a cough. But now, get back. Now, this book, it's same with the first book. It sort of deals with the consequences of the main 10 books in the series, and the Malazan book of the Fallen. I tend to think of it. This is an analogy for me. Like if you drop a pebble in a pond, and the ripples come out, the ripples spread out throughout the pond. So if you think Castle Orlong is the pebble, that's where the first ripples come, and then faint ripples effect here. But this is probably more directly linked, I don't know if to say linked, but the consequences of maybe Deadhouse Gates and well into the aftermath and the Empire at that time. So more thoughts. A bit rambling besides just me saying it's great, I recommend it. And there is a unique cast of characters again, and Erikson just has this beautiful way of bringing them to life. Even like minor characters that you think may play a bigger role but don't. The hair is fully fleshed out, and they're just amazing, and it's beautifully written. And there's so many lines that I highlight in the audiobook, and I've already started reading the physical book. More on that in a moment. But I digress. But yeah, there's I don't want to say too much because it is an unspoiler review. But I guess dealing with the consequences of a few things, bringing back the different characters from the main line series. Sorry, I'll have to edit this a bit because my voice is struggling at the moment. So there is, we're back in, there's a malazan Empire. We're back in 7 cities. So that's where I mean it's sort of like the ramifications of Deadhouse Gates. So there are the typical malazan Marines that are always, you gotta love them. They're a bunch of goofballs sometimes, or they're just out there hard asses. But there's some, there's some with lofty ambitions that I don't want to spoil, but they are brilliant, brilliant, just amazingly written. I can't gush over it enough. And then we've got the Seven City Natives. There's Shamal, who's the high priestess of Baya Sheikh, the goddess of the of the. God damn, I'm terrible at this at the moment. Still collecting my thoughts. The goddess of the whirlwind. Whole high priestess of that. So I think a lot of these books deal. Steven Erikson writes that deal raise the question like the consequences of events and the forming of religions and cults and that are either based on events, real life in world real life events that get distorted and twisted to the narrative of the people in power within those cults and religions. And it is a fascinating aspect to bring up. And in the world of fantasy, he's able to raise those questions, and which would probably be too hard to do in the real world without getting destroyed over it. But there's I don't know what else to say about this because I really enjoyed it. I don't want to say too much because I want people to go out and enjoy it yourself. So if you've read the first 10 books of Malazan, Book of the Fallen, and all the books in the Malazan Empire by Ian C. Esselmont, and you've read the first Tale of Witness, you are going to enjoy this. There are a couple of things, references to other things like the Carcanis trilogy. I haven't read those books yet. I haven't had a chance to yet, so it's not. Well, I don't know if it's required, but it didn't affect my reading of this or my listening. So as a sidebar, people can debate whether audiobooks count as reading, but I think tales through generations were passed down verbally, unchanged, for X amount of generations. So listening to an audio book like this is traditional in the real sense. Books, the written language hasn't been around as long as tales have been told. So anyway, but I do find that there is a different experience reading the words and being able to go back and process them differently than just hearing them the first time, because the audiobook will just push on. And a lot of especially with Steven Erikson's work, there's so many layers and nuance to it that sometimes can be accentuated by the voice actor, and sometimes you need to read and process it and interpret it for yourself, because sometimes it will just go past and keep going, and there might be something that may be important, may not be, but anyway, it's just food for thought, and it just adds another layer to it. So anyway, this book is great. I recommend it. Sorry for the rambling review, the non-spoiler rambling review, but if you're a fan of Steven Erikson, or if you're a fan of like fantasy in general, I recommend this book. And if you haven't read it before, you just stumble along, like you can, hook into God is Not Willing. I don't think you can go wrong with that. But anyway, that's it for now. Just a quick video of me rambling for 10 minutes to say, get out there and check this out. All right, see you later.